What's up, you guys? My name is Alex Hampton. Usually on Mondays I would have a episode of Ask Alex, but today we're gonna do something very different. Um, so I have my co-host here, Ian Elliott Carter. I would have had Jeremy on here too, but today's Jeremy's anniversary, so he's spending time with his wife. But if it wasn't his anniversary, he would be on the show as well, talking about this topic. Now, before we get deeper into the topic, Ian, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
What's going on? My name is Ian Elliott Carter of the Controversy YouTube channel, and yeah, I'm a huge blurred, as in a black nerd. I like to talk pop culture, and I love to talk about hip hop stuff. But I don't ever steer fear when it comes to uncomfortable conversations as well. And I'm also a black father. That's gonna be very important in this conversation.
Yeah, and just like him, I'm a black father as well. So as you guys know, literally the last few days, like literally the last 4 or 5 days, almost a week now, our country has been in shambles of some kind. We literally witnessed a black man, George Floyd, get murdered by the police. We also witnessed within the same, I believe either the same day or the next day, a white woman calling the police on a black bird watcher. About a couple days ago, I did a live video. It was my first time ever going like live on my YouTube channel, just saying how tired I was. It wasn't articulated very well, so and this is why I also have Ian to provide another perspective on here, as well, because I think we tend to agree on this particular thing, and also there might be some differences. But at the same time, as black men, we can understand that living in a country that's never really been that's never really favored us, it gets to a point where you get tired. And as my platform, I want to express what it's like being a black man, on not just on YouTube, but just living as a black man. And I'm gonna pass it down to Ian as well. Um, I, as a black man, I've always had to work harder than the other person. I've always had to work harder than the other person. So when people come at me or talk bad about me, and by the way, if you're a racist or if you're someone who disagrees and just want to be volatile in the comment section, not only am I blocking you, I'm reporting you, I'm deleting your comments, because that's not going to be welcomed in this video. What you have to understand is that with us, it's hard on us. When I found out that Philando Castile got murdered in his car, I was very cautious about how I drive and what neighborhoods I go to, because I noticed a reoccurring thing that where black men are getting pulled over, and some of them are not going home. They're not going home to their families or their loved ones. They're either dead or in jail, but more than likely dead and under the jail. That's how bad it has gotten. When I saw George Floyd, well, actually, before I get to George Floyd, when I saw Eric Gardner get killed, he told that officer, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." And he still continued to choke him out. When I saw George Floyd get choked out by having a knee in his neck, and I saw the police officer smirking, just like he didn't give a damn. I want people to understand that we are human. I see a lot of conversations on social media from a lot of people that I don't know, and actually a lot of people I do know. People who I'm actually surprised by the things that they're saying, because some of them I've never really seen that side of them. And a lot of people keep focusing on the narrative of rioting and looting. The country is like, people are breaking down and burning up targets. See, here's the thing. I'm not for violence. However, I'm not going to talk about the looting and rioting, because we're not talking about the reason why they're doing that. See, y'all are focusing on they're looting, they're destroying stuff. Okay, but we're not talking about the reason. The reason is that for 400 years, black people have been subjected to nothing but nonstop slavery and oppression. For years we have protested. For years we have did the right things. We started organizations like the Black Panthers, the NAACP, and the government has found ways to shut those things down or limit their capacities to get justice for us. Now, I understand that my platform is about movies, pop culture, TV news, superheroes, all that good stuff. But as a black man, I can't stand by and just not really say anything. And like I said, if Jeremy were on the show, by the way, side note, Jeremy was in my hometown, Pensacola, protesting with a lot of the other people there. Like, so it's so I want to point this out that there are people who are not just who look like us, but there are also white people who understand that there is a systematic problem of how we're being treated by white people, in particular the police and also the Karens of this world. I say all that to say when people say, oh, well, you shouldn't advocate violence. No, I'm not advocating violence. Not advocating violence at all. What I'm simply saying is that the reason why people are rioting is because they are unheard. They have unheard. We have gone years of trying to do the right thing. Let me ask you guys something. Why is it, and I posted this on my Instagram, but why is it that Colin Kaepernick is a son of a bitch because he decided to do a peaceful protest? Let me also point this out. Colin Kaepernick protested it by himself. He didn't make a big stink about it. The media saw what he was doing and says, oh, he's a disgrace to America because he's sitting down. He's taking a knee. But the very person who told him to take a knee was a Green Beret. He said, hey, if you want to really honor the flag and take a peaceful protest, take a knee. Because if anyone, I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus. When we go to the altar to talk to God, we get on our knees. We pray. We bind in solidarity. That's out of respect. And I'm not here to force my views on anyone, but what I want you guys to understand is that I don't understand how Colin Kaepernick can be a son of a bitch and a disgrace to this country, but the moment a police officer shoots or puts his knee on a black man, white people ain't got nothing to say. Nothing to say at all. And I won't make that general broad statement that it's all white people, because it's not. I've seen some videos of white people who are standing with us. I've actually seen some white cops who are standing with us. So I want to point this out, that not all white cops are bad. I actually have some family members who are police officers. I understand what it means to be a police officer, but also I want to keep this in mind as well. Let's not forget our history where police officers originated. Police officers originated by protecting their slave owners. So if we really want to talk about the police and all lives matter, listen, I'm with that, but here's the thing. Black lives matter. We matter. It's funny, before I pass it to Ian did a video about the Karens of this world. And in that video, although it's funny, it's comical, I related to as a black man because he said in that video that he was working at a restaurant, and I'll just summing it up, working at a restaurant, trying to help this guy, being very customer service like. This white guy saw Ian and decided to put the burger he bit out of into his hand. Had that been a white person, I wonder if they would have done the same thing. And see, where I'm from, although, yes, I love Jesus, I would have been handing out ass whoopings and I would have went to jail. Where I'm from. Because the people I'm raised with, they don't play that. They don't play that. I don't care who you are. I've worked in the hospitality industry and the restaurant industry, and even in the media industry. I've experienced a whole lot of type of racism from privileged white people. So I understand. And I say this to say, just in reference of my last video that I did, when I say I'm tired, I don't even go jogging anymore. I live in basically in a Hispanic Haitian neighborhood where there's not that many white folks, but there are white folks. But even in that, I'm still scared that if I run around my neighborhood, someone's going to think that I'm doing something so wrong. I was telling my wife, I said, I'm scared to even run in my backyard because who's to say someone's going to say there's a black man in a backyard. By the way, I own my house. I own it. And for someone to call the police on me for running in the backyard that I own, that is a scary thought. The way I drive is scary. And the reason why it's so scary for me is because I don't want to leave my wife or my daughter, my mom, my dad, or my friends and family behind because of some idiot with a gun and a badge. So before I continue, because I've gone on too long, but I will definitely continue the conversation. Ian, what do you think about what's been going on over the last 4 or 5 days? And just as a black man, provide your perspective of how you live your everyday life and what you're always cautious of.
Well, I got nothing written down, so I'm just definitely going to talk off the top of the dome. First things that come to mind. One thing you said about being a black man in this country. I'm obviously a light-skinned person. I'm actually a mixed person. My mother's black, and my father was white before he's always going to be white, but he died when I was 8, so I was pretty much raised by my black mother my whole life. One thing I do acknowledge is I've had racism toward me. But I'll quote Nas when he says, "The darker you are in this country, the harder you have to work."
Oh, amen.
So I'll acknowledge there's this there's comfort when some people see me just because how light my skin is. But I've definitely seen the cringe and the fear when it comes to the ones that are darker than me. No matter how educated they are, no matter what they've done, no matter how unviolent this person is, it's just there's always sometimes a fear when it comes to just the things that the stereotypes of what the media or television portrays us as. Like my girlfriend, she's mixed as well, but she was raised by her 2 white grandparents. She had this mindset for a long time that blacks were ghetto, ratchet, every negative stereotypical thing you could say gangsta until she actually interacted with a lot of them. And it's not that her grandparents are racist or anything; they're definitely not. But it's just like the absence of not being around others, can kind of you form your own opinion from what you see. And and the great thing about being mixed, I'll say this, like I said, it's a gift and a curse, especially the light skin part. There is a little bit of a privilege to it, and that's the sad world there is. It's like you were mentioning white privilege, and we'll probably get into that later a little more. There's definitely a thing with white privilege that even I can't even get into that one, But there is a light skin privilege as well, and I have to acknowledge that. But that's the curse of it. At the same time, police officers, black is black, no matter what the shade is, and some people as well, some people too. But the fear level, I'd say, is different. One thing I'll say about the gift of being mixed, like me and Toddy, we have been bridges our whole lives. My mother, my whole family that I've gone to has all been black, and a lot of my friends, half of my friends are equally black, and the other half are equally white. And being a military brat, a lot of my friends have been Hispanic and Asian as well. A lot of people. But the gift and the curse of that would be I have perspectives of all these people, and they all have their perspective of me. But I'm the only white person some of my black friends see when it comes to my half side, and I'm the only black person some of my white friends will see. Mm-hmm. And it sucks. I have to be that ambassador or representative of the black community every time I'm around white people. And it sucks sometimes even I have to be that representative of white. It's not that big of a deal with the white. Honestly, I can care less, because that's not a huge issue. Mm-hmm. But it sucks that I have to be that ambassador sometimes with white people, for black people, because they are seeing the negative stuff that the media portrays us as. Mm-hmm. They see us as the hoodlums. They see us as that fear criminal. And I have to be... And I don't like acting because I'm generally a nice person, but I feel like sometimes I have to show people, bruh, people are people at the end of the day. stop giving these people these stereotypes. And I feel sometimes my kindness or like my friendship with some of these white people has reshaped some of their mindsets. And it could possibly save another black man's life. Just because if I've not been that black person in this person's life, who knows how they think about us? And that sucks. You know, I like to think that's a way of curing ignorance, but at the same time, that's the parents' job. I should not be the black representative every time I'm with a white person. You know, and I think it's getting better as we can see with some of these protests. It's the most diverse protest I've ever seen in my life. A lot of white people in the front line, a lot of Asian, Hispanics, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this. Is Martin Luther King's dream live and set in live action. This is great. But as you see, there's still some of those people that are living in this box. No matter how many, no matter how many of their friends and family are starting to wake up a little bit to the injustice of how that we are treated in the system or by police or systematically. There's some that just refuse to be like, always submit to the police, always, act a certain way, always do. No, we've proven that no matter what happens, sometimes the outcome is just not the same. And people are upset, and we can't. My thing is like you. I definitely do not agree with riots, and I do not agree with protests. As a matter of fact, I drive Uber Eats. I literally drove by a peaceful protest around 5 o'clock yesterday. And on that same street at 9 o'clock, I saw the violent riots and looting. And it scared me half to death. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was genuinely scared. I knew I was okay because I don't think they were going to mess with me because, obviously that's where a little bit of my black privilege came in a little bit. But it still terrified me. And it was sad to see. It's these are hurt people hurting, and I got to say I don't agree, but I understand it. And who am I to say how you should act when you're upset? Because I know I've generally said and done things out of anger that I didn't think how to act. But I'm not going to be politically correct to your rules when you piss me off. And this is pent up anger for years and years and years. And it so happened, it seems like this has been a back-to-back thing, and this is it. You talked about Ahmaud just running, couldn't even get an arrest from these people for 2 months, and it took a video to come out for that. And then you get Karen, just trying to use her privilege to get the police over there, try to put that fear of the police. She knew what she was doing because she wanted that outcome to be what happened to George. That's what it is. And back on that stepping stone, the next thing after that was George. It was obviously the same day, but you're just like, this is years of aggression, and then all this happening within a couple of weeks. And then we're in this quarantine where we're just building up. Come on, man. The black community been a time bomb ticking for years, and you cannot act surprised and shocked when it goes off.
Yeah, and I it's funny that you said this because I wanna line this up for you guys. In Michigan, there were people who were protesting to get haircuts and their jobs and to go places. They were waving Confederate flags, they were waving Trump flags, they were waving all these things you would assume to be, which I'm not going to say assume, all these things that they were waving and doing were very racist. The police who were there literally stood there with their hands behind their back, allowing them to yell, spit, cough in the midst of this pandemic. With all these riots now. If you look at some of these police officers, and I was just playing Call of Duty a few moments ago, that's what they look like. They look like the soldiers of Call of Duty with gas masks, amplified machine guns, grenades, tear gas, all this other stuff. And I'm like, wow. So let me get this straight. It's okay for white people, certain white people to protest about getting a haircut and getting their jobs back because they're angry. And y'all do not handle them like they're animals. But the moment we start blowing shit up, or not even that, the moment we start literally, at first it started as a protest. And then y'all are handling us like animals. And then now people are blowing shit up again. I don't condone riots. I don't. I mean, I don't condone violence of any kind. But I understand the reason why they're doing it. I read it's funny because he said last night around 5 he drove past some riots. I read where they were doing riots in Tampa. Even here
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
okay.
yeah, I just want to reiterate that at around 5 o'clock when I was doing Uber Eats,
Yeah.
it was a peaceful protest. It was like a bunch of college kids,
Yeah.
very peaceful. They were giving the fist in the air. Everybody was nice, very diverse. It's around 9 o'clock is when I saw the riots. It's when I saw Walgreens bashed in. I saw people fleeing like they just did something. I saw a guy with a crowbar. I don't know what he just did, and I was just like, I gotta get the hell out of here. I don't know what's going on, but it generally did scare me. And then we're seeing it live on our phones, and we're seeing like they're going back and forth with the police. I was like, I was just there. That's what terrifies me. So, but like I said, as me, somebody that says I get it. I definitely don't condone it. I mean, I definitely don't agree with it, but I get it. Me, I was scared. Me, I was terrified. I didn't want to be around it. Most people like me and you with a normal mindset don't want to be around that, don't agree with that. But that's what people are seeing, and that's the only thing people choose to talk about, and that pisses me off.
And I agree with what he's saying. Like I saw those things online too, and I also read that even in my city downtown, they started rioting as well. And again, I don't want this to be the focus on the riots. That's not no. It's not that the riot is actually really not the issue. The issue is that we have gone years, literally years, of not being heard. And this is what the result is. You may not agree with it, you may not like it, you may not accept it. That hey, whatever. But the point I'm making is that listen, when is enough going to be enough? I should not have to be in fear of my daughter's life because she's black. I should not be in fear of my wife or my life because we're black. I shouldn't be fear of my bro's life, Ian, because he's black. None of us, like the people I've been able to connect with over the years that I've been alive, who are black or Hispanic or who have a brown skin color, I should not be in fear of their lives because of them being black or because having a brown skin color. The point we're making, even on a platform like this, and I know it's not that big of a platform, but I had to speak out and say, listen, enough is enough. As black folks, we are tired of seeing this craziness. Again, like I said before, we can talk about the riots, you can talk about all this other looting and all the other stuff, but until we start talking about the reason why we're doing that, all that other stuff doesn't make any sense. Yes, I understand that businesses are being burned. There was one man who owned a restaurant, and he said, listen, if they burn down, black man, he said, if they burn down my restaurant, I understand. They are angry and they need to be heard. And, in my mind, if I owned a restaurant, I'm like, wow, that takes a lot of guts because I don't know if I would do that. But when I really look at it, I'm like, yeah, these people are angry. And it's like someone gave me this analogy. If you poke a lion so many times, they may warn you. They may try to do it the right way. But the many times you continue to poke that lion, the lion's going to react.
Man, this is our first disagreement right here. I would say I'd say black people are nicer than that. A lion will immediately chop your hand off.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'd say black people are like, I put that analogy like the Hulk. Bruce Banner trying hard not to become the Hulk. He's trying his hardest not to be the Hulk. He hates being the Hulk. But if you piss Bruce Banner off, he will turn into the Hulk. And the Hulk says, remember, all the time, Hulk is strongest he ever is. And he will tear things up until, that's what's happening, literally. Black people are hulking out. And even some of our allies, we are hulking out. Mm-hmm. And we tried not to be Hulk. We tried to be Bruce Banner. We've tried our whole lives. You took us here from Africa. We've tried to get along. You treat us like you made us treat us like slaves. We were slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Then you took us. We had to fight a war just to get away from that, and then you gave us segregation. And then, Vine, you treated us like crap. Even when the guy named Martin Luther King Jr., which you like to quote him for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
because he's your savior, even though you killed him. But anyways, that's a different subject.
Exactly.
You like to quote him a lot, but then that outcome. It wasn't until like the late '60s that we finally got to segregate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's still people today. My mother, if you're alive to remember when there was a white-only fountain, come on, that wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the time of being a lot like history to now, that's really not that. That's really like this.
Exactly.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so come on, man, come on.
Yeah, and to add to that, what he's saying is that, listen, like when he says not long ago, my father, my grandfather, they fought in the war. They fought in the war. When they came back home, they're treated like second-class citizens. Why is that? They fought for this country. So instead of saying, "Oh, well, thank you for your service," no, like there are places that they go, like restaurants, where they get discriminated against because they're black, but they're veterans. They fought for the country that they love. So explain to me, like, and like Ian said, like there was. It's not that very long ago where there were white-only restaurants, white-only fountains, white-only playgrounds. And it's funny. Ian even pointed out something when he started. He said his dad was white, his mom is black. Do you guys realize if you did that back in the day, they got killed? They killed people for that. So just understand that when we see these things, it's not to say, "Oh, well, black people are trying to find something to complain about." No, we have literally been placed in a place where we have been facing these injustices for years.
Bruh, I would rather talk nerdy stuff and I'd rather talk hip hop than all this crap that we're going through right now.
Exactly.
We've been talking about it for years, like you just said. But we have to continue pushing in this narrative or nothing will change. People want us to submit to, a countless circle, a never-ending circle. They want us to submit and just keep it going forever. But now, more than ever, we're tired of this. It's time to step out of this circle and rearrange it into a square because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to step out of this circle, I guess I'd use that analogy backwards, but I'll just keep what I was doing. If you want to step out of this circle, you're going to have to, break some eggs to get.
Yeah. And I want to wrap up this video by saying that, listen, enough is enough. Like Ian, I would rather be talking about a lot of the movie news and a lot of the questions that I got over the weekend because I'm a blerd. I love that stuff, but I can't sit by as a black man and see my community get vilified and hurt and all. I can't stand by and not say anything. So that is the reason why I'm talking like this today. And I also want to point out for the people who say it's not my place, I should focus on movie news. Let me just put this out to you. Yeah, and Ian, I was about to say that. Ian really stood up for that. Listen, first of all, this is my platform. I'll talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Not only that, if I see something affecting my community, fuck all that other bullshit. Because let me just point this out. Warner Brothers and Disney's ain't paying me. Hell, I don't even receive anything on YouTube. So, with that being said, if I don't have a financial stake in this. I don't have a financial stake in this at all. But however, what I will say is that at the end of the day, these types of conversations need to be had a lot. My prayers go out to the family of George Floyd. My prayers go out to all the other people who are out there protesting and standing up for what is right. My prayers go out to anyone who's been affected by this police brutality, been affected by injustice in any way, shape, or form. Listen, I understand that there's a lot of stuff that we got to overcome. But I want to let all of you guys know who's watching right now that I genuinely have you in my hearts. I'm praying for you. Please stay safe. I understand the fight. I understand the reason why people are doing what they're doing, and I'm very empathetic on that. But I also want to also point out that what Killer Mike said, I believe it was either today or yesterday, he said that we need to organize and come up with a plan to do this. Rioting isn't always the answer. Yes, we're getting people's attention, but if we come out with a strategic plan to get through this, I can guarantee you something good may come out of this. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Ian, where can we find you on social media?
Listen, if you like this conversation, please reach out to me. I love to keep it going. You can find me on Twitter at _controversy, or you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/thecontroversy.
Yeah, and you know where to find you. Find us, guys. We're here at Momentum Media, and we're probably gonna have more of these conversations as the weeks go by. Listen, like I said before, I would love to talk about all this other cool stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I couldn't just do an episode of Ask Alex and not address this. So Ask Alex will return probably next week, but I wanted to make this video stating that, listen, I see my brothers and sisters out there and our allies out there doing the work. It is my opportunity to use whatever platform I do have to express how I feel and to use my words and my wisdom to reach out to you guys as well. I want to thank Ian for being on. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, you guys, please stay safe and please have a blessed day.
Peace.